Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me now? You can hear me. Give me likes if you hear me. Okay, some likes if you... Oh, you can hear me. Okay. Alright. I'm out of jail. Alright, cool. Conscious levels. How you guys doing? Perfect. Okay, cool. Alright, conscious levels. What am I talking about today? We're talking about university means universal. Religion is region. Nationality is nation. Spirituality is spatial. We're gonna get into this. Okay, so what am I talking about when I do this and when I say this, right? So first of all, regional, right? So we think about a region. What's a region? Region is a small place, a small area, the region that you live in, right? So we talk about regional consciousness, right? I'm talking about the smallest level, the beginning level of the consciousness, right? So this is stuffing that you could use for children, right? So this is a problem that we have when we get into religion, right? And religion-based thing is religion is region, right? So it has to do with small groupings and communities, right? Because where do communities build around? Communities build around churches, things of this nature. So this religion is a way to start building communal consciousness, right? That's why when you take religion and move it to macro scales, there's a problem, right? Once religions get too big, there's issues with them, right? Because religions are meant to be kept in regions, are communal based things. So you're thinking about small picture stuff, right? So these things should never be able to be blown up to big scales. That is why that every time we see religions try and take on too many people, take on too much size, there starts to get problems within the interpretation within the religion. However, once religions say small and regional, you can see that people get along with it a lot better. Okay, so that's why we have to take these notions and smaller notions of God that are bundled into regions and expel it as you move up the chain, right? So religion is region, whether you're talking about Allah, whether you're talking about God, whether you're talking about Yahweh, Yah, any of these things, right? Because when I think of Allah, I'm just thinking of arm, leg, arm, head, right? My body, right? So with Muslims and things of that nature, they're just trying to get their feet set. That's why they pray 5 times a day. You pray 5 times a day to remind yourself that there is something bigger, to remind yourself of karma, right? Remind yourself of your higher self. So you get down, you humble yourself, you put your head to the ground, right? Christians and Catholics, you guys do church on every Sunday, you guys do confession, those type of things, reconciliation to try and get yourself. Now these are the first level, like that's first base, right? Because when we think of regions are the smallest base. Then you move to nationality, university, universal. Then we got spatial, right? Space, we're all in a space within space, right? So you have to see spatial as a big picture. So that's spirituality. Once we get to spirituality, that's the over-encompassing consciousness. But we're just moving up. So, right, religion, it means that you're in the first level, right? Religion means that you're in regional community. So how do I define myself within a small group? How do I learn these tricks and trades on the small scale of things to the point where I need reminders in order to be godly, right? So that's why you do, if you're a Muslim, you pray, you put your head to the ground 5 times a day, you have your dietary laws, Jewish have their dietary laws, things like that, because you're starting to get a ramification, a spectrum on what you're doing. Now, some religions are a little bit more intense and will bring you a little bit further. Now, just even within just religions, aka your region, just like within your regions, you're supposed to want to move to different regions when you get more money, right? So when you get more notions of things, you want to move up the regions, right? You want to move up your religions, right? Because each religion gets a little bit more intense as you move through it, right? So when you look at your Christians and your Catholics, it's almost like a free-for-all there, right? You can eat whatever. Someone died for your sins, so it's about like kind of like trying to live close to the laws of God and things like that. Then when you get to Judaism and Muslim and Islam, things of that nature, you start getting dietary restrictions, you start getting prayer regimens. Once you move into Buddhism, Hinduism, like Christian consciousness, things of this nature, you step up into a different region, right? You're in a different price bracket now within it. Alright, so when I step up into those religions are a lot stricter with their dietary laws. They come with meditation, a lot more symbolism, things of that nature, right? As opposed to my Catholic and Christian. Yeah, this one's a good one, bro. So for my man who just stepped in, we're just talking about religion is region. So that's the first base. Nationality is the second base of consciousness. We got universities, which is universal, spiritual, which is spatial, right? Because you're in a space, you're a space within a space, right? So spirituality, spatial, that's the top key. right? So within your region, right, religion, regions, you're getting small group community ideals, right? Because whenever we take religion, put it over a big expansive area, it gets crazy, it gets crooked, things happen, right? Because it's only based in regions, communities, right? It's supposed to deal with you in a sense and getting you started on your journey, right? So that's why when you hold on religion too long, there gets to be problems, right? You become closed-minded when you hold on because you're supposed to evolve out of it, right? So within my religions, there's different communities, right? Communities within it. So there's different ways of developing up. Like if I live in a certain area, there's a rich area in that area, right? So within my religion, I got to move up and out of the religion. So that's why you see people who are really conscious and spiritual, they go through religious rungs. Like I've practiced with all the religions, right? Because each one was able to teach me a little bit more about spirituality. So you got to level up out of level up out of religions, right? So now I'm out of religions, right? Next thing they get you with is nationality, right? Nationality, now we think of religion as region, right? Then you go to nationality as nation, right? So now this is how to understand the bigger notion of nation, a bigger populace, right? Because we have religion that was region, right? Which is smaller communities. Now you got nation, national, right? Nationality, which is a larger group. How do I fit in, and what are my expectations within this larger consciousness now of the consciousness of a nation? Now we have people that get caught up in this sense too. Just like religion and region, you got to move out of regional, right? You got to move out of small regions and then move up into a national sense, right? Because once you move into nationality thinking, you expand your mind because now you're thinking about a bigger group of people, right? So you're thinking about encompassing and allowing in different ideals from a national perspective, right? But however, within nationality, you can get caught up just like you did in Christianity or regional religion and get stuck in there, right? And that's what you see when we look at TV. You see TV right now, it's talking a lot about flags, we're talking about kneeling, things of that nature. That's people getting caught in the nationality consciousness, the nation consciousness, right? That's the second rung up. You got to be mindful to that, because nation can end up being like religion and region, just like that can be like university. But we're going to get to that, right? So I got to be mindful of my nationality, because nationality, you're still you. The problem is that we lose ourselves sometimes within these conscious groups. You can't lose yourselves within the conscious groups. You got to be mindful, right? Just like I got to be mindful in my religion that I'm still me, right? I can't just go 100% by what's in these books if they don't make sense, right? So you got to level up out of it. Just like in nationality, some of the things that are going on nationally and that we stand for nationally don't make sense to your everyday person. So I got to be able to see that and say, nah, I'm not fucking with that. That makes me be able to level up, right? Now, you go to universities, right? We go to universities to get universal knowledge, to get culture, right? You go to college and they teach you culture. They teach you well-roundedness. You stay with different kids from different areas, places from different countries. Colleges want people from different countries in there, right? Because now you're stepping out of nationality and learning how to understand universal, right? My universe, right? The universe, the people in the world, right? More of a global consciousness notion. However, you can get stuck in this notion, right? You see people get stuck in that program all the time, where they think that once they're finished with college, they're done learning, right? Like once I went to whatever I went to college for, I am. No, right? That's just another level of consciousness that you're supposed to use to help you understand another bigger picture, right? Because we have religion, which is a community thing, region, right? You have nationality, which is national. So you have nation. So I have a nation consciousness. The people that are in the same nation as me. Now I get college and university, which gives me a universal, right? What are these people who come from out of country to this school? What are the ideas and cultures of, I know, I'll take Western Civ, I'll take this class, that class, like Greek philosophy, all these bullshit things, but that's giving me more of a universal consciousness, right? But you can get stuck in that program too, where thinking your college is this superior, I'm wearing my college colors, people are like wearing Duke shit all the time, doing all this. You treat it like a religion, right? The same thing is going all three, right? You can peep that, right? The same way people will treat their religion and regional / community consciousness, they'll treat their college universal consciousness, right? When you see people like, I'm a diehard Dookie forever, people who are Notre Dame, wearing Notre Dame all out, chilling at their house with Notre Dame shit everywhere, right? Where in another house it might be crosses everywhere. Where in another house it might be American flags and presidents everywhere. You see how it's the same exact consciousness level. It's just your understanding of which one you're in, right? I got to understand where I'm at in these things. So you got religion, region, right? Religion, region, community. That's small. That's where you should start your kids off, right? Nice and easy them into it. Then you got nation, nationality, right? You should get your kids to understand that within one nation, there can be all these different people, right? The consciousness is a little bigger. Then I get to college, university, universal. I get a little bit bigger here because now newer ideas are coming in from different places. Because when you go to school in your nation, you're learning nationality-based schooling, right? It's all based on your nationality, right? And I think that when I put religion, region, all this stuff and broke it down, they blocked my sound. That's why they blocked my sound, because I was about to break this shit down on y'all. But so now once you get to university, right? For anyone, but like you can get universal consciousness without going to university, but that's what you're getting there. They're trying to give you that, right? Now I can understand ideas from different places that become more universal. But the next step is spirituality, is spatial, right? That's why when you're spirituality, you talk about the universe and the all. You talk about the biggest encompassing thing now, right? We're talking about my space within space, right? Spirituality is spatial. That's why you level up to spirituality, right? And within all these different things, you got certain dietary things that go on within it. You got certain dietary recommendations. That's why you got to be you within each level of this growth, right? Because I can be a Buddhist in America and not be able to eat like any sentient being. However, once I start identifying with the American nationality, right, I get into the American diet. You see that happen all the time, right? Then I may go to college and they cook certain things in the cafeteria every single week. Then I fall into their diet. Do you see how every single level they have the spiritual centers there? Once I get to spirituality, then I have understanding of all. Right, because spirituality is all encompassing. That's why I got to get to the outer rim. But you got to see that every single level of consciousness, they're trying to scoop you in, right? For the people who are just getting in the room now, religion is regional, right? Communal, close, smallest of them, right? Because they're trying to talk about big things, but in a way that I can put it into communal politics, community politics. Because when religion was first made, it was to deal with communities. Small people are still living in smaller communities. That's why it didn't work to big cities. That's why they had to go in and redo it and add all these pagan thoughts and all that stuff into it so it could apply to a national setting, right? Religion needed to get infused with all different ideas before it could be national, right? Or then it could even be universal, right? It had to get all these different things that made it not the religion. So then we got to national, which is my nation, which is understanding within the grouping of groups where I'm at. So I can understand what kind of people make up our nation. It's all different places, all different countries. They have different groups that make up their nations. And I go to university, I learn universal. I learn things that come from all different places. Then I'm supposed to level up to spirituality, which is spatial. Knowing I'm a space within a space, knowing I'm God. Then I start to look down on all these things. Now, when you look down on these things, that's not in a bad way. It's being to see them, oversee all these different levels that you had to get up to the top, right? And you can see the flaws within them. I can see the dietary flaws within them. I can see the grouping flaws. I can see all these things. Now, I'm not saying that some of these, there's not good things that come out of these things, right? Because, like we learned, there's good in evil. There's no such thing as good and evil fully, right? There's only variations of good with variations of evil in it, right? Show me the evilest person, I'll show you something good that they've done in their life. There's no such thing as good and evil. Those things aren't two separate things. It's one thing, but shady in between it, right? So we got to understand that. So when I'm growing through these nationalities, there's still good things about it that I got to be able to pick from. But that's why we got to be critical thinkers, right? And the problem is that a lot of us aren't critical thinkers to be able to look at all the things and all these levels of elevation and ascension through these things and pick out the things that apply and leave the things that are old school, leave the things that don't work, right? You gotta look at people today. We got Sports Center, all this shit. People are going crazy over people kneeling over a hypothetical object, a created object. If I put this on the screen, I could say this is a flag, right? This could symbolize whatever we want to make it symbolize. This is a case. I can make this symbolize anything. However, if someone kneels for it, it's up to me to then get mad about that. But this shit is just a case. It doesn't have anything, you can't talk to it. It can't tell you any thought or theory about who you are, we give it the thought and theory about what it represents. So no one should ever be mad about this. If we're getting mad about this, we're missing the point, right? We're missing the point about all the people who are just chilling, their lives and houses just got destroyed. However, even more than that, we're missing the point on a global section of all the things that are going wrong, right? Because we keep getting caught up in these levels of growth, levels of consciousness, region, religion, nation, nationality, university, universal, spiritual, spatial, space, right? Think about space, it's big, right? But people always want to be like, oh, you're spiritual. No, you can then come to a point where you've seen it all and you don't have to identify with anything. Again, you don't have to identify with these things. I'm just showing you the realms that they all inhabit, the ways that it comes across, the way and the notions and the thoughts that come with each bubble, right? Because they're all orbs. You gotta remember that I can't get too far in and make either any of them a religion, a dogma, or a doctrine. No such thing as dogma and doctrine. Get rid of dogma and doctrine from your daily routine. If there's something that you have to be dogmatic or doctrinic about, you should get rid of it, right? Once you have understanding your being, right? We talk about I be, because once I know, then I be, and I'm alive in my actions. I believe I'm alive in my actions, right? So I gotta be alive in my actions and in my truth, right? So I gotta be. So I shouldn't be doctrinic and dogmatic, like I can only eat this, and this. No, I should just be like, I know what's healthy and what's really healthy for me, so I should eat within these things, right? Because then I can be within it. Because then I can wake up in the morning and be like, yo, I want to have this today. And that's okay, because I'm going off of intuition. Now, if you're like, every morning you're like, yo, I gotta have this, and this, and think about all these meals, now you're being a glutton. You gotta chill, right? That's where some of the stuff you pull up and some of you gotta know to leave down, right? But that's on you. Critical thinking, and it's you.com, right? It's your world. I'm just teaching you how not to get caught up in all these different realms. Just like anything, you can get caught up in a mode of thought, in a program, and you're stuck, right? Like you see people who are down here and still got communal philosophy and can't get spatial philosophies, right? They can't get universal philosophies, right? How is it that some parents like are super religious, their kid goes away to college and then they butt heads the whole time, right? Because they're stuck in a communal consciousness while this person's on a universal consciousness. And you see that a lot with the older generation. The older generations are stuck in national consciousness, right? They're still doing the nationality thing. The nationality mixed in with the communal. It's like a hybrid of the two, right? Because either one of them can become dogmatic and doctrinic and cult-like within their knowledge, right? But you got to be able to decipher and move through. That's why this is a crazy game, right? It's a crazy game. You got to get to spatial, like you got to get to spatial as quick as possible and then get above spatial. Because once you're above spatial, then you do your thing. But spatial is the last round, right? Because the biggest round. Because now we're talking about space, right? Universe, the all. You're talking about these notions. And once you can grasp them and understand them, then you move up, right? But that's why they're the levels. Because people will get caught in the levels and you know that's where they're meant to be. Someone who gets caught in nationality, you know that's where they were meant to be. That conscious realm caught them. That's why I'll have people who come up to me out of nowhere just like, what do you think about the kneeling? And I just go, really? Like, I don't give a fuck. To be honest with you, I don't care. I like that someone's trying to stand up and use their press, use their stardom for something that actually has some kind of backing to it. But do I think that it should be an uproar over this? Do I think we should even still be talking about this? No, I think this shit should have already been handled. Right? He started kneeling last season or 2 seasons ago now. Why are we still talking about it today? Old programs. We shouldn't be talking about the kneeling thing. The kneeling thing's been happening. The kneeling thing has been happening. Why are we still talking about? Why is it still national attention? You gotta think about that. Why is that coming up to the front? There's so many other things going on right now. This is a beautiful night tonight. But we gotta understand your space. Understand where you're at. Understand what conscious programming you're at. Once you understand where you're at in this conscious programming, then you can know how to circumvent it. Because it's all about circumventing the consciousness programs that they're putting out there. It's all about understanding that religion is region, community, smaller notions of consciousness. Then you go to nation, national. How do I represent and how do I experience nationality? How do I represent the people in my nation? Then I go to universities, right? That give me more universal thought. That teach me about other cultures. People from other places are coming to this university. Then I step into spirituality, which is spatial, space, you're space within a space, right? So then I'm thinking about the universe, the all these different things. So you have to remember that with all these realms, you can get religious within them. But the truth and the key is to not get religious or dogmatic in any of them, because then you become stuck in that consciousness and you're never able to move up above it, right? That's why I say, I just made a comment before. You have some parents who are stuck in religious, communal consciousness. Their kid goes to university and then they fight because their parent and the kid's consciousness are on two different levels. Because a parent, like, if I bring communal consciousness to a bigger scale, it didn't work, right? That's why they had to put pagan shit in it so it could work on a bigger thing. Yes, be the observer, right? So that's it. This was a quick one for the people who jumped in late. Catch the video. There was downloads galore. But know what conscious level you're at. Don't get stuck in any of them. Don't make any of them dogmatic. Don't make any of them doctrinic, right? Keep it G. Keep it B. Be yourself. Be alive in your truth, right? Just be. Because if I have the truths on all these, I can just be alive in it. I don't have to be dogmatic or make sure that I'm doing certain things. I can just chill, right? Once you get to spiritual, you know you're getting to the end. Then don't get caught in the spirituality dogmatic. Be alive in your spirituality. Enjoy that you made it through. You didn't get caught in religion in all those different regions when you were trying to expand yourself. Like, you move regions to when you get more money, right? So just like people move through their religions, right? They don't like this. They get too far past this religion. They jump in another one. Then they pass it. Boom. Then you jump into your nationality. Don't get caught in nationality. Don't get caught in nationalistic things. Don't get caught in worrying about flags, fighting wars for a bunch of, like, worry about if someone comes in your space. Who are you within the nation? How do you represent it within the nation? If you can't get clean water, you representing your nation, does your nationality matter? These different things. Be smart, right? Be alive, right? If you're going to your house and you went to Duke University and you got Duke Blue Devils everywhere, it's the same thing as having crosses everywhere. Your religion, you fucked up, right? You got caught in another orb, right? We got to move out, expand your consciousness. I love you all. I love myself. How are you being today?